investors can trust. I hope this was insightful to our esteemed colleagues from government to see what kind of we're working on, and that, like you said, Muhammad, at the beginning, only together we can really go far. You've been an amazing audience. We still have a massive program ahead of us with even a lot more special announcements and things that we're bringing to market, actually in very short order. Why don't we take 15 minutes break? But please, let's do just 15 minutes and then come back and we'll continue our program. Thank you so much. Now let's hear from some of you, specifically around the challenges and the opportunities in the industry at large, and the challenges and opportunities as you actually run your own businesses. And for that, I'm going to introduce our General Manager and Country Manager for Bahrain, Khalid Al-Sa'ih.
Hello, thank you, Sharif. So let me kickstart our second panel. So our second panel will be with three of our leaders in the market. Please join me welcoming Mr. Mohammed Al Kooheji, CEO of Kooheji Development. Juffair Al-Uraibi, CEO of HouseMe. And Mr. Karim Yazji, CEO of ASK Real Estate. Thank you so much for being with us here today. So why don't I start with giving you the floor to reflect and resonate on the first panel, the first session, and the trust and transparency. Let me start with you, Mr. Muhammad.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have the pleasure to be among you here, and I'm thankful to Property Finder for your invitation. What we've heard from our brother Mohammed was so great in terms of bringing the regulation into the real estate industry in Bahrain. What I would say that also we are thankful to Sheikh Mohammed for bringing the transparency into the industry in Bahrain. I would say that today we are behind the era of bringing transparency to the real estate sector in Bahrain due to many reasons. Today, whenever you want to buy a real estate in Bahrain, I would say that you will find that the property is registered, it's regulated, the escrow account is there. The authority is having a full regulation in terms of the cash flow, whether it's an inflow or the outflow. So that gives the confidence, let's say, to the investor that whatever he will be paying going to an escrow account, and the escrow account is well regulated. We can see also the RERA are a bit more strict to ensure that any projects will not have any kind of disturbance in terms of incompletion or facing any challenges. So what's happening is that the RERA is asking for more collaterals, more guarantees from developers, and they want to ensure that every single project in Bahrain goes into completion without any disturbance. So if we are talking about transparency, yes, we see it there. However, I was just talking to my brother Mohammed that what we see that many of the people here are expecting beyond what the RERA should do as a regulatory authority. The RERA role is mainly to regulate. The RERA role is not to serve, let's say, issues related to the CBB when it comes to solving, let's say, issues related to opening bank account. They are not related to solving an issue related to the address card. They are not related, let's say, to all the challenges that the agents are addressing. That's why I've told my brother Mohammed we are very keen as a developer to see a small office within the RERA, since everyone now in Bahrain is considering RERA as, let's say, I will not say the regulatory authority only, but beyond that. They see RERA as being, I would say, the incubator of the developers and the real estate sector in Bahrain. So they are beyond being a regulator, and what we wish really to see is that the RERA, they take a proactive action by opening, I would say, a coordinated, integrated office among all the government-related entities. Today we have only 3 or 4 challenges. We have the challenge of the security clearance that we've been hearing for the last 2 or 3 years. And alhamdulillah, today, as the tension and the political tension is easing up in the area, we see huge opportunity coming up to Bahrain. And we hope that we see this being reflected on the security measures, as we've been having, I would say, strict security measures, not only in Bahrain, but I would say in the whole region, due to the political tension being in the area. So whenever you will be talking to any brokers, he will tell you one of our biggest challenge is the security clearance. And then we come to whether obtaining an address card and opening a bank account, or opening a bank account in real estate. We've been talking about this dilemma forever. And I think that we acknowledge this challenge. And I think it's time to see a coordination office under the umbrella of the RERA, where they will coordinate in terms of the address cards, in terms of opening a bank account, in terms of ensuring that the investor who's coming to Bahrain is not having any barriers and challenges throughout all the government entities. And those are the barriers. I think one of the most experienced brokers being here, I think Roxana, for 20 years, she said it bluntly that we are losing a lot of investors coming to Bahrain and leaving because we are not able to facilitate them. And we've been approaching the RERA saying, okay, you as a regulatory authority, but from their point of view, they are saying we are only a regulatory authority. We are not here as a facilitator to resolve all these issues. Yes, we are in touch with the authorities. We will try to, let's say, to convey your messages. But I would say that it's time now for RERA to step up cabinet in between all the government entities and ensure that all these small glitches into the real estate sectors are removed and the barriers are removed. And then you will see a real transformation in the government sector as well as the real estate sector in Bahrain.
Yeah, great. So we're talking that RERA, maybe they are regulatory. Who do you think need to drive this change? I mean, is it the real estate industry itself? I mean, is it like the brokers, the developers? Is any entity, or maybe this should be driven with RERA to have better initiatives for the market?
Well, I would say it should be a collaborative standout, whether it's the brokers, whether it's the developers, whether it's the investors, whether it's the businessman, whether it's the government entities. I would say we've been seeing a real intent from the government side to align their vision with the real estate sector as well as the private sector. And we've been talking with all the high officials that we are very keen to see a collaborative, aligned vision of the real estate sector as well as the private sectors with the government, let's say, visions and objectives, because what will drive the growth is the alignment. Today, maybe one of the biggest challenges that we face in the real estate sector in Bahrain is we are being fragmented. I would say all the projects that you are seeing here and there are self-initiative of developers. You don't see a holistic approach. You don't see a functional approach. You don't see an experiential destination approaches into the projects. And this is, I would say, an opportunity at the same time. I mean, we have huge untapped opportunities into the sector. Bahrain is great. We are thankful to our government. We are thankful, let's say, that we have this infrastructure. We are thankful to Bahrain's people in terms of their skill sets. So there is so much to be done. And to answer your question, I would say it should be a collaborative approach, not only from the government side. And I see that the government are taking, I would say, a proactive approach in terms of trying to align the private sectors to be aligned with their vision. And we are waiting for the government to disclose their vision in terms of how they would like to take and transform the real estate sector in Bahrain, whether in terms of, I don't see the real estate sector as a standalone by itself. We need to look into the real estate sector in terms of all, I would say, the asset classes. You can look into one example that made a huge transformation in terms of real estate, let's say, growth, is the Royal College in Busaitin. One Royal College has, let's say, driven, I would say, 150 buildings and towers in Bosetin. So when you have an initiative with a driven vision and aligned, I would say, private sector initiatives related to the government, you will get the results. However, if it's more fragmented, okay, you will not get that, I would say, touch point where you are having an experiential project that meets, let's say, the targeted segment as per the market need, and then the developers will come align and develop their projects, okay, to fulfill that needs.
Great. So this actually drives me to my second question for you, Jafar. You know, we have seen many challenges in the world last year. But what we have noticed as well, the Middle East was not affected like the other areas of the world. The Middle East, and especially the GCC areas, we have seen that investments still coming. And real estate, we have seen, for example, in Abu Dhabi, in Q1, the transactions were doubled. So investments are still coming. A lot of things are happening. What do you think the opportunities are in the Bahraini real estate market as an industry? What are the opportunities that we can look after? I mean, is it like the foreign investment, anything local, anything from the area itself?
Thank you very much, first of all, for this amazing event. It's really a great initiative by Property Finder, and it's a great opportunity for all of the brokers and all of the active professionals in the market to interact with RERA. If I back to your question, I think there is fundamentals and principles for any cross-border investment in the entire globe. The first one is the opportunities. If opportunities are available in any spot in the world, the investors will look onto the investment. Okay, there are other factors like the regulations and legal aspects, okay, and lots of things, and one of them is availability of professionals, people, and the skills in the local market. If we talk about Bahrain, I think Bahrain, similar to any of GCC country, has an opportunity. The opportunity here, it depends about what type of access that the investor can have in the country. And again, it's about also regulation where the cross-border investor can have a regulation which is giving him a real opportunity, giving him a growth, and giving him an alternative when he compares it with other regions. But it's also important that this regulation is not struggling his move, okay? The real estate, in terms of investment and in terms of development, it has a time lag. It's a long-term investment. So during the investment, there are lots of changes might happen. So the facilities that the governments or the regulator can provide is crucial. Okay. Just as a reflection on pandemic period, even in UK, for example, the most active sector within real estate was residential. And the reason, there are different reasons. One of them is waiving of registration fees, okay, for a certain price tags of the properties. And we have seen as well the logistics market playing a big role within the real estate. The people behavior has been changed, okay? People behavior has sent a message to the real estate investors. What do they need to adopt into the market? So the logistics and the warehouses in UK, for example, being under pressure to be developed, not to be leased, to be developed. There was a queue for people who are interested. And I think this has happened also in Bahrain, maybe in a very low scale. I believe in Bahrain, we have the opportunity by the echo of our GCC countries or by neighbors to have the business. Okay. Our country, as being a moderate country, a moderate country since ages in GCC, is a good gateway for our country. The skill set that Bahrainis have is another strong measure that we can build in Bahrain. Okay. And the last point here is, if we back to the results or to the figures that SLRP publishing every quarter, I believe, we can see that the majority of the transactions are being for local, okay? And I think tackling the residential market for local will do lots of changes. And this, by the way, it's a gateway for foreign direct investment in Bahrain.
Amazing. Karim, let me get your reflection as well on the opportunities, and let's talk about the challenges as well in the market. What are some of the challenges that we have now as a real estate industry that maybe if we overcome, we can really hit these opportunities?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Property Finder. Thank you, BIBF, for having all of us today. Let me start from the second part of your question, which is the challenges. Look, the biggest challenge that everybody sees is Bahrain being a small country, small economy. Us competing, let's say, with real estate countries like Dubai, currently Saudi Arabia is coming into the real estate game, to attract foreign investment. Bahrain has big potential, this competition, let's say, is healthy. Us, as all of us, the stakeholders, developers, brokers, real estate service providers, we should all work together with RERA to overcome these challenges, to grow the market and attract foreign investment.
You actually mentioned one point which is very important. Since I joined Property Finder like 8 years ago, during my meetings always the Saudi investors was one of the main asked from each and every customer. And I think recently we started to see that Saudi, they are changing the regulation. They are actually trying to keep these investors as well inside Saudi. So what is the effect of that? What's happening in Saudi? How do you see the effect of Saudi investors in Bahrain at this moment?
Well, obviously Bahrain needs to diversify. We need to diversify our focus on Saudis. We need to create new products to compete with the products created in Saudi Arabia, to attract people to come, as my colleague said, we need to come up with more creative approaches, create communities, attractions, entertainment, and Bahrain really has huge potential for this. We just need people to believe in Bahrain, investors to build new projects, futuristic projects. I say yes, congratulations.
Okay, yeah. Now, you as a developer, Mohammed, you face all of this. I mean,
before going to this, I would like to come to the points that they have added. I mean, when it comes to opportunities in the real estate sector in Bahrain, as I said, we are virgin. It's an open playing field. I would say we focus a lot on trying to fix problems rather than focusing on the opportunity side. Looking into what they have said in terms of the ecosystem as well as Saudi being a gateway, I don't see that today we should compete Saudi rather than complementing their, I would say, vision and strategy. Looking into what's going on in Riyadh today, I will address 4 different opportunities. There are many, but I would like to pursue the 4 and explore, with whoever is attending today, the thoughts in terms of those 4 opportunities. One comes If we come with an aligned vision of what's going on in terms of Riyadh today, today in Riyadh, if you see what we have and what they have, if you look into the playing field of Bahrain, we have many things that we could drive our strategy from our strength and hinge our strategy in the strength that they don't have. Okay, what does Riyadh today don't have? Riyadh today doesn't have, I would say, the right properties with the right prices in terms of rent. Okay, whoever has transferred, I would say, from Bahrain to Riyadh, the rental there for the same quality is 3 times Bahrain. Okay, for the same apartment that you are paying 600 BD, you will pay 2,000 BD in Riyadh and you will not get it. Likewise, when it comes to buying property in Riyadh, for the apartment that you are buying today in Juffair for 600 BD in square meter, you will not get it in Riyadh for 2,000 BD per square meter. So I would say we need first, I would say, to explore the strengths of the market. We have a great regulatory authority. We have great infrastructure. We have the great human being with the right skill sets. We have, I would say, the depth in terms of the financial sector. And we have also experienced developers that has gone through different, I would say, experiential projects and different asset class. So now, how we would complement Riyadh? There are different ways. Today, I have many friends in Riyadh who are looking, let's say, to outsource their artificial intelligence offices or virtual assistants to Bahrain. When it comes to the financial sector, when it comes to the equity market, they need a lot of employees. The cost of living in Riyadh, okay, is very high. For you to make, let's say, to move from one point to another point in Riyadh with the traffic, it takes you 3-4 hours. You can barely make only one meeting at a day. So there are many talks now going in Riyadh that they would like to outsource what they are having to Egypt and to Bahrain. And they are serious about it because you have the right skill sets, you have the infrastructure, you have the real, I would say, the apartments available. So you could also recruit, get Tamkeen, I would say, support. Okay, nothing greater than that. And this is where we would like to see Tamkeen also stepping in. Okay, government authorities stepping in and creating kind of, I would say, a collaborative, coordinative platform between what's going in Riyadh and how we could complement them. Another opportunity is that, as I said earlier, that today we are looking into real estate sector just as growth in apartments. We are not looking in terms of growth in terms of clinics. Today, if you are in Bahrain looking for one single destination as a Saudi, coming from across the border, saying, okay, and we need also to understand that the cost of living in Saudi has went way up high. And you can see the behavior and the trends of spending for the Saudis in the weekend. They are looking to do their grocery in Bahrain. They are looking to go for beautification clinics in Bahrain. They are looking to have leisure and F&B in Bahrain. But I will ask you, do we have a single destination in Bahrain where we have a mixed use, F&B, education, culture, healthcare, in, let's say, anywhere in Bahrain? We don't have it, despite we've seen similar destinations and initiatives. So I would say opportunity number one is to look into the gaps of a giga economy next to us, next door. We don't need to look into attracting people from Europe or foreign investments from far. The money is next gate. The only thing we need to act as a facilitator, understand their needs, understand the market gap, and come up with a product that fulfills the requirement. The third opportunity, I would say, comes when we align, I would say, healthcare, education, leisure. If you are talking about, let's say, the Saudis' expectations when they come to Bahrain, they are looking for a seafront facilities. They are looking for a seafront, I would say, beaches. And if you say today, okay, how many public beaches we do have in Bahrain? How many sea upfront, okay, 5-star leisure facilities we are having in Bahrain? You have only one. You have the Ritz now, okay, Four Seasons, half small. But if we are looking into a growth into the real estate sector, I would say we would like to see an alignment with urban planning in terms of zoning. And we've been saying this for long. And I would say the real estate sector cannot see a real transformation in terms of the product unless today you will be able to have the right land with the right usage, with the right zone. And you as a developer, you will be able to do the acquisition and come with the right product, okay, targeting the right market segment and targeting their behaviors and needs in terms of their purchasing power as well as their need. The third area I would say is education. Bahrain, I would say colleges, just like the BIBF, has grown in, I would say, 2010, but in the 2000 to 2010, we've seen huge licensing growth in terms of colleges. But after that, for one reason or another, it has stopped. But if today we are looking in terms of, let's say, the blockchains, or making Bahrain as an IT hub, or when it comes to the artificial intelligence, so I would say looking into specialty colleges that will enable the Saudis to fulfill their market gaps in terms of their skill sets, definitely you will find huge growth again in terms of building the right college. Once you have the right college there with the right number of students, you will build that neighborhood, and you will find that you will have, let's say, a demand on properties, you will have demand on the retail, it will drive spend on the F&B. So it doesn't start just by thinking, let's do an F&B project standalone. It's an ecosystem, as he said. I mean, if you have a holistic vision driven from a government body, aligned with the private sector, then it will be second to none, because you are very clear in terms of your objectives, in terms of your targets, in terms of who you are targeting, what's their purchasing power, and you will be able to create a destination. The destination should be holistic in the approach. And as I said, when we look today in terms of Saudi projects, and when we look in terms of their, I would say, المستهدفات, their objectives or their targets, each, let's say, ministry is having targets, and the private sector is aligned. If we go to tourism, okay, Neom is coming up, Red Sea is coming up. It has been all built by private sector. There is no government entity, okay. The PIF there is acting, I would say, they are watching for the opportunity, and they are aligned in making acquisitions on active private sector entities, taking them into IPOs. So same, okay, we would like to see here today, if we would like to attract the tourists, to look into their needs, to have a detailed survey why this, you tell me why Saudis are coming and spending in Bahrain. But all of them are complaining about the same thing, that, okay, Mohammed, we come to Bahrain, and the experience is fragmented, okay? If I take my kids, it's in one place. If I would like to go and have leisure with friends, it's in another place, and it will take me time. But maybe I go to other countries like Dubai, and it's one destination where I will have activities for the family, for all ages, and the spend will be at one time, and it will be effective, let's say, leisure holiday for 2 to 3 days. And when it comes to Bahrain, yes, we have certain, let's say, good fragmented experiences, and it's about time now to align it together. You take other, let's say, ministries, I would say targets when it comes to education. Yeah, and we've been always pioneers in the region when it comes to education. And I would say definitely today with having a transformative, disruptive, let's say, thoughts into the education, especially when it comes to colleges, definitely will attract a lot of Saudis to have onboarding schools, to have onboarding colleges, amazing, do the spend here, come with the families. We can, as I say, take the example of Royal College. How many apartment has been rented?
It's an amazing example.
How many apartment has been leased for only one college? Just imagine today if the ministry comes and say, we have a target to come up with 5 colleges that will come with unique skill sets that the real estate requires, or the economies and the giga economies requires. This is where we are going. These are the plots that has been assigned for those colleges, And then we can ask the brokers to bring the investors. But bringing the investors without a solid business plan, the investor will come, make a round, and find that we are not clear where we are going. And he will be, I would say, careful about his spend, because he will feel that we don't have an alignment, whether in terms of our private sector and the government sector. When it comes to, I would say, holistic projects, we've seen what has, let's say, Dubai started with the JVR, then they have moved, let's say, to many functional cities. And their functional cities, this is the media city, this is the, let's say, healthcare city, this is, let's say, when it comes to the other sectors related to logistic cities, and this is how they have evolved. But if you see our experience when it comes to real estate sector in Bahrain, we have a fragmented experience and misaligned in terms of regulatory support, in terms of the enablers, whether it is having the right land with the right zoning, whether in terms of alignment of the vision of the investor, fulfilling, let's say, different departmental or ministries' objectives. And I feel once this is all aligned and we look into it holistically, we will create, I would say, an amazing opportunity for real estate sector to grow in Bahrain in different sector, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, whether it's logistics. Today, Saudi is looking to be one of the main logistics hubs, and they are looking for specialty companies, and they are creating, let's say, amazing collaboration with Amazon, with Noon, looking for smart warehouses, where Bahrain can, I would say, drive an edge there, subject to the alignment. And this is beyond, I would say, an investor. It's beyond a developer. It should be a collaborative approach. Yes, it's a country level, but with an alignment. Okay, once the alignment is there, the objectives are there, you will see the flow and the drive of all the investors coming to Bahrain. Because whenever you sit with any investor and you say, okay, what makes today Bahrain different? And as I said, you have an amazing infrastructure, you have the skill sets, you have all the right, I would say, amenities, healthcare, education is there. So it will be an ideal place for anyone
to
serving
come
Saudi
and
market and living in Bahrain. It's just we need to open these barriers, and definitely the opportunity is massive.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Well said. Jafar, I want to ask you about the challenges that we are facing on our business at this moment. I mean, when it comes to talent, when it comes to cost, regulations, what are some of the challenges that we are having now?
Before we highlight on the challenges, we should understand that there are, let's say, three levels. We have the level of the regulator, and the regulator and the governmental bodies who are giving supports. We have the level of the business owner or institutional investors, and we have the level of the professionals. With each line of those, there are challenges. However, all of those are all working on gears where they are moving a machine. So we have 3 gears moving the machines together. If we have found a challenge in one of them, it's for sure that the challenge will be for the entire cycle. RERA have done a great job, or the idea of RERA is so great to regulate the market. Okay, we used to have a market which is unregulated, and by fact, the real estate market in overall the world is uncentralized market. This is one of the facts about real estate. But having a regulator was a missing piece where it has been getting available right now in Bahrain. Okay, The start was great and amazing to regulate, to align the market. What we need is a quick adaptation to what's going on at the market level, okay? We need, for example, as Mohammed has highlighted, Tamkeen. We need Tamkeen, for example, or any other entity within the government to enable the real estate to move to a good standard. We would like to be a hub later on for real estate skills and professionals, okay? Tamkeen, I think, could have a big role here to play. BIBF, by establishing of real estate academy, for example. I don't know if I recall it well. I heard today that Polytechnic are opening a degree. Having a degree in the university is great, so the education is important, but at the time being, I will emphasize on having real estate professional courses for the real estate professionals, okay? The real estate owners and institutional investors, they should believe on being, they have a courage to invest and to open a new line of businesses and to develop their employees, okay? Developing your employees and their expertise will has a payoff later. So this is one of the challenges, okay? If we talk about Bahraini level, if we talk about Bahrain level, but I believe that the companies in Bahrain, they have the opportunity as well to open up their eyes to GCC countries and to be an active player in our GCC countries. We have the same culture. We have the same, almost same rules and regulation. We have the same, let's say, personality in general. So we have a good access to go to this market. So Bahrain has a strong position to be a real estate hub in terms of skills. Okay. So the challenges are, let's say, faster adaptation by the regulator, and the real estate professional, they should believe that they need to improve themselves. Okay. The market needs tools, and those tools could be provided by the regulator and the business owners as well. So the business owners, they should create new opportunities in the market.
How's the access for talents? I mean, now, how's the talents in the market?
How's the what?
Talents.
Tenants. Tenants?
No, the talents, المواهب.
Okay, the talents. Well, I think, see, in every country there is lots of talents. This is facts. Okay. Do we have in Bahrain? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have a very strong education levels of Bahrainis. Okay. And those Bahrainis are hard workers, and they can deliver. So the talents are available. What you need for the talents is you reshape, and you polish, and you provide support and training. Having all of those, you will not just get a talent, you will get a super talent.
Yeah. Amazing. I want to give you 30 seconds to address to the audience. What advice you can give to the audience? What statement you can give to the audience?
The biggest advice I can give to this very good audience is all of us, we need to believe in Bahrain real estate market. We need to believe in its growth, and together we can make it happen, you know, to be a big regional, let's say, at least player. Yeah.
Juffair?
Well, I would say that you should believe on your passion, have a strong willingness to work, okay? Create good network with your clients and invest in yourself. If you don't learn today, you will not learn tomorrow. And if you don't learn tomorrow, you are losing your place at the market.
Thank you. Mohammed?
Before going to the advice, I would like just to address the challenges when it comes to the real estate sector. We've been, I would say, if you attend most of the cabinet's meetings, you will find all the people addressing the challenges. And I would say if you did work in Riyadh or did work in Dubai, you will feel Bahrain like home to get your things done. So I would say that we should really focus on the opportunities. Our biggest challenge today in Bahrain that we don't recognize our, let's say, strengths. We are not capitalizing on our strength. We are not reading around us the ecosystem and what's happening in the gaps and how Bahrain could re-strategize, okay, the economy as well as the real estate sector to fulfill, let's say, Saudi's market growth and their ambitious 2030 plan. And I think once we are clear with this, no one will start coming and addressing the challenge of, let's say, electricity, addressing the challenge of high utilities, because at the end we need to adapt to that higher cost of living, and that's coming, I mean, whether we like it or not, but it's a fact. However, the way to overcome this is to open the gates and I would say to tap those, let's say, untapped opportunities and to focus on our revenues rather than only focusing on reducing our expenses. This is the real, I would say, challenge. And once we are clear with this, definitely you will have, I would say, you will break that lock-in that we are having in the economy. It's the challenge or it's pursuing the opportunity first. And focusing on pursuing the opportunity will make all these small challenges compared to operating in any other market. I would say Bahrain is the most friendly in terms of operating your business compared to any. Yes, people say it's in Dubai, but go to Dubai and you will see the bills that you will be paying, and at the end you will find that you are not reaching anywhere. You will barely cover your expenses. Yes, you might be able to sell, but the operating cost of most of the investors who did operate in Dubai's market, they find that Bahrain market is a good asset yield. When it comes to the asset yield in Bahrain, still it gives you 7 to 9%. Okay, when it goes to Dubai, the best, let's say, asset yield that it will give you max of maybe 3.5%. So I would say still Bahrain is attractive for many of the investors, subject that's aligned, let's say, with the region vision, and we are able to fulfill the gaps that the giga economy next to us is having. In terms of my advice for the people, we have a great country, we have great leadership, and I would say the inputs comes from the people. When you sit with higher authorities, you will think that they are aware about what's going on. But the real input comes from you. The opportunity comes from your mouth because you are sitting with the investors. You know their needs. You know their challenges. You just need to address it in a holistic manner to the government. And once they have a clear, I would say, idea of what's going on in terms of the barriers that you are having with your investors, they will definitely make the change. But I would say most of the comments comes fragmented. It's about the address card, it's about this, it's about that. But I think, as I said earlier in my first comment, that if we today have, just like Shamil, when the government realized that let's have all the government cabinets and entities in one shop floor for the investor, we will need the same, let's say, collaborative approach with all the government entities in one area to fulfill the investors' needs. And I think with you having your voice, let's say, through detailed collaborative research into what the market needs, why people are coming to Bahrain and investing. This is very important because you are seeing the trend. And when you are sitting with the investor, you can take from them why they did not invest in Dubai. How was their experience in Dubai? Why they didn't consider Riyadh, for example. You think that, okay, yes, things are going amazing in Riyadh, but I can tell you that it might take you 2 to 3 years just to be able to find the right plot in Riyadh and come up with the right project. While here in Bahrain, maybe you can find the best plot with the right zoning within a week, find the right consultant in another week, appoint an amazing contractor, get your tower done with a per square meter rate second to none in the region. So the ease, I would say, that we have in Bahrain is what people don't realize, and it's there. Once we communicate, I think, holistically to our government, definitely we will find the response. And I think they are being receptive to that and proactive. And inshallah, we hope for the best.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Let's open the floor for questions.
My question is for Mr. Mohammed. As a developer, many Saudis would like to buy in Bahrain, especially in Seef area and in Reef area. Are you planning to build anything soon in those areas, like Seef or Reef? Because there are no new projects.
Well, I think, I don't know if it's related to the panel.
But it's a challenge also, you know.
Yes. Yes. Well, yes, we are having upcoming projects that we will disclose in the second quarter of the year.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. Let me call to the stand Mr. Andres Vargas, our Commercial Strategy Director, who's going to announce a very special program that we are bringing to Bahrain today. Andres.